Previously on Roadhouse TV's Sodor Stories.
The Topham family and I have recently started going to the Brendan gym in this area near the hills of the China clay pits as a New Year's resolution.
I'm sick of seeing you killing yourself and your stomach with the gazillion bags of food that belongs in the trash. You're a young woman, not an animal, so grow up and learn how to be a man like the rest of the world.
Blimey, what's that?
I don't know, old boy, but it sounded a bit like it came from Stopknack's mansion.
Wait, Neville, what are you doing with my passenger train?
The station master at Knapford told me that you're to head over to the school at Brentham. He said it's urgent.
Really? What's going on over there?
He didn't say, other than there was some kind of emergency, and I'm to take over your next train.
What the? Philip? Bishop? Boko? Derek? What's going on?
The top head's daughter has gone missing.
What? Missing? How? And when?
About an hour ago, the headmistress caught her running off school grounds without authorizing. Unfortunately, she left her phone in class, so they weren't able to track her location, thus getting the police involved.
I do hope she's okay, wherever she is.
So if you see her, please call 999 immediately.
I can't believe some people are stupid enough to ditch their education. Oh dear, where could she have gone off to?
Will they find her? Find out in Sarah's Sad Truth.
You good, Calvin?
Yeah, I'm just worried about Sarah.
I sure hope they find her soon. I've heard way too many tall tales on the fates of disappearing children.
Me too.
It's been almost 24 hours, and still no one's seen or heard any updates from her.
The K2 had finished organizing the rolling stock in his yard while his crew were on a lunch break.
I really hope the worst hasn't happened to... Huh? What's that?
Edward could have sworn he was hearing someone sleeping in his yard.
Hello? Who's there? Ugh, I really hope Weasley isn't sleeping on the job again. Or maybe it's a homeless person?
Hey, I'm not homeless. I'm just... Edward?
Sarah?
Both stared at each other for a good couple seconds until Edward broke the silence.
What are you doing here? Not only are you trespassing in the yards, but Sir Topham Hatt and the rest of your family are worried sick about you. And so are the rest of us.
Oh, God.
Oh, God is right. They called the cops, Sarah.
What? Why would they do that?
Maybe it's because someone ditched school and left without a trace and left their phone behind so they couldn't possibly find you. You need to get back to your family now.
Edward, do you mind keeping a secret?
Now, of course, Edward wasn't going to, but he could tell how much this meant to her in that moment, so he decided to play along to make her think he would do what she wanted.
Very well. I'll keep my mouth shut. What is it?
About going back. The truth is, I can't.
What? What do you mean you can't?
I can't go back and face them. Not after this. I don't want to get into trouble and be locked in my room, and especially with the way I look. I should be out there burning my fat whale body off, not being in isolation from anything fun. I often look at the mirror and constantly see this fat, gross slob who's too much of a scaredy cat to face her own problems. Why would they even attempt to find some worthless, angsty, messed up young lady like me?
My goodness. Sarah, this has nothing to do with how you look. And it wouldn't have mattered what type of physical appearance you had. Big, small, curved, wide, long, skinny. They would have looked for a daughter in any form. And you probably would have done the same for a person in your family if they disappeared. Why would you bring up how you look into this?
Mr. Jackson?
What?
Mr. Jackson. He's my workout teacher. He's a tough coach and wants us girls to lose a lot of weight. I'm already a tad insecure about my horizontal appearance, and Coach Jackson seems to agree on how ugly I am. Burn, burn, burn off those calories, he says, and makes me sweat myself to death with all those exercises from the inside out. He also said I wasn't supposed to gain an additional 10 pounds over the weekend, and that he could see it in my stupid face, arms, and legs.
Bust my buffers. Is this why you were self-conscious about that selfie? Why you spewed in the toilet last week? Why you came to my yard so early? And why you...
Ran away? A whole purpose of that was just to go to the gym for extra hours. I just couldn't see myself sitting in a boring class and not getting off my lazy butt to lose the pounds that burdened me. But when I was at the gym, I had this very disturbing and anxious feeling. I don't know why, but it just didn't feel right for me to be there for some reason. So I ran away again and found myself here. I crawled up into this box fan to hide from people looking at me and went down a long, depressing spiral for what felt like days. Until somehow I got tired and went out like a light. Next thing I know, I'm waking up here and my stomach.
Sarah, what's wrong?
It's my stomach again. It hurts when I groan like that these days. But I just tell myself to ignore the feeling because all it's trying to do is make me look obese.
Sarah, when was the last time you've eaten something? You can't remember, can you?
About 5 to 4 days at most. I even told Mr. Jackson, who was there at the time when I ran to the gym about this issue. You know what he told me?
At least you're not turning into an ugly, chunky boy every nanosecond.
Oh my god.
What?
Alright, that's it. I'm gonna report this now. This is getting way too out of hand.
What? Why?
Because if someone doesn't do something soon, I'm heading straight down to that gym and deal with him myself.
No, please. You promised you'd keep that secret.
I'm sorry, but I can't ignore it. This Jackson guy is an extremely bad influence, a disgusting monster. He's dragging you into this unhealthy cycle, and I'm not gonna sit on my tender while he does. I'm gone.
And he was, without his crew.
Where are you going? Stop!
I better leave too before someone spots me.
Edward raced to Knapford as fast as his wheels would carry him.
I need to speak to Albert this instant. I can't have our controller's little girl going down this dangerous route. I must...
Boy, watch out!
The signalman quickly switched the points away from Duck Flying.
Be careful, Edward. You almost crashed into me.
Sorry, Doc.
Phew! Gonna take this train to Crosby now.
What happened, Edward? I saw you spinning here and almost having an accident.
Sorry, sir. I was just coming to tell you I have something urgent. Is something wrong?
Indeed, it's Sarah. They found her, passed out on the grounds of Wellsworth neighborhood.
Wait, passed out?
Correct. She was still breathing but unconscious. The ambulance took her to Wellsworth Hospital, where they discovered a lack of nutrients in her body. They figured she might have some mild eating disorder, but I honestly don't know how that happened.
Oh, son of a...
What? What is it?
Albert, you need to contact the Topham family and the police. Now!
You! Hey, don't just barge into my office like that! Can I help you with something or what?
Hi, I'm Sir Richard Topham Hatt, daughter of Sarah and notably controller of the Northwestern Railway.
Oh, I see.
I just wanted to ask you, when Sarah came here yesterday, did you know that she had ditched school, was out on the run starving herself to the point of passing out, and that the police, my family, myself, and the folks of Brindham, Wellsworth, and Sudbury were searching for her all day and all night until people found her passed out on the ground after nearly 24 hours?
Wait, missing? Passed out? I didn't expect that to happen to the likes of her. I also didn't know she ditched school either. All she told me was that it was closed because of some teacher work day.
How could you not have known? It was all over BBC Sodor News yesterday. Unless you were just saying that to avoid the consequences.
What are you talking about? I don't pay attention to the boring news. I spend my time focusing on maintaining the strong man I am today.
Oh, really? Well, maybe that's why she ran away then, because of you.
Me? What could you possibly be trying to imply? I haven't done anything to provoke her to such an act.
Ah, but I think my special guest would beg to differ.
FBI, open up!
Police, we got you surrounded.
The frick? What is this?
The moment where you are under arrest for violation of probation, physical and verbal child abuse, and neglect.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of law.
Violation of probation?
We'll explain later. In the meantime, you're coming with us.
What? That spoiled fat rat is gonna pay for this!
Yeah, tell it to the judge.
That's what you get for calling me a whale. Take him away, officers.
fortnight passed since the whole ordeal, but Edward had received little to no updates on Sarah, who was taking time off school, along with Sir Richard and the Hat family, who were on a family emergency. The worries and lack of knowledge on Sarah's condition was starting to drive him a little insane.
Edward!
Driver, you startled me.
I've just got word that there's some people on the platform who want to see you.
Really? Who are they?
Oh, I'm sure you'll see in about 30 seconds.
This made him quite puzzled, but he went anyway. There was Sir Richard, Samantha, his wife, Calvin, and Sarah all waiting for him.
Soot in my smoke box. I don't believe it. Sarah, it's really you.
Hello, Edward. It's so lovely to see you again. I've missed you.
I missed you too. How have you been? I hope you're not doing anything unhealthy or even relapsing.
Well, truth be told, it's been a bit of a hard process for all of us. Albert and Sarah told us everything, and we've been doing everything in our power to help our daughter get back on her feet.
Agreed. After recovering in the hospital for nearly a week, I went to see my therapist for my eating and weight problems. It's taken a while, but I think I've been able to work through some of my issues. Boy, do I regret dragging my friends into that stupid workout class with a horrible man.
Well, let me just say, you shouldn't. You didn't know what was gonna happen.
Dang right, Mr. Red Engine.
It'll take some time and work for me to fully recover and cope with everything, but for now, I'm okay. And it's thanks to you that I am.
So, you're not mad at me for telling you your secret?
Not at all. I've learned that if it wasn't for you, I probably wouldn't be standing here or feeling the way I am right now.
And I'm extremely proud of you for reporting what you knew to us. You really are one of the most useful and best engines I've ever known. As an award, I'm giving you a proper day off from work. And by the request of Sarah, you will give her a ride across the island in your cab.
Oh my god, I don't believe it. That sounds wonderful. Thank you so much.
No, thank you for helping us.
3 cheers for Edward and Sarah.
That's my boy right there. Congratulations, old boy.
Hey, that's my line.
But out of everyone on the Brendan branch line, Edward was the most excited of all.
Wait, I almost forgot. What happened to Mr. Jackson?
Oh yes, we forgot to tell you. He was arrested.
Arrested? That sounds a little off for someone who didn't commit crimes but pursued young teenage girls.
Not when you hear about his backstory.
They then went on to explain to Edward what they meant, and he was mortified. Topham Hat's office in Napper Station. The next day, Sir Topham Hatt went back to being controller, while Edward gave Sarah a ride around the island.
Hi, Calvin.
Hope you have a good run, Sarah.
Me too, partner.
I'm very happy to say that a lot of good would come out of this, and I mean that in more ways than one. First of all, Mr. Jackson was taken into custody by the police on a number of charges and left a steroid needle behind at the Brendan gym. Turns out he was actually a bit mentally unstable, though he had also been going through a weight problem himself, and had not only validated his insecurities on Sarah and her friends, but also secretly used steroids to make him more buff without actually doing any work. He'd actually fled from England to Sodor a couple months prior due to some legal complications with how violent his anger issues were. He was placed into the asylum section at Wellsworth Hospital, during which time Sarah was passed out, making her worried that if they were in the same hospital, he would come after her, which I'm pleased to say he obviously didn't. What happened to him next is unknown, as the police and hospital stated that the rest of his doings were classified. Regardless, he was no longer anyone's problem, and with him out of the picture, not only could Sarah continue going to the gym freely to focus on her physical and mental health, but the new gym teacher they brought in was a lot more kinder, and even led the girls through meditation as a relaxing recovery mechanism from everything that happened. Look at him go. It's like he's a young engine again. I know, I'm very happy for the both of them. Screw that Jackson guy. I hope the Brendan Peninsula never has to deal with them again. You know those prisons in the movies that have, a bunch of barbells in a workout area? If he actually gets arrested someday, I hope whatever prison he goes to, they don't have one of those. This reminds me of how messed up people can be. Can you believe today's society? We're in the 21st century, and humanity's at with each other like there's no tomorrow. From what I've seen and heard, social media is both the tip of the iceberg and the main cause of a portion of it. Us sentient locomotives have been alive longer than we should have. which is a blessing, but the major downside is that we've lived long enough to see what kind of chaos the outside world can bring. My personal thoughts exactly, but there's nothing we can do about it. Besides, it's not all doom and gloom, and I'm glad Sarah was able to get out of her drama and is doing well. Though relating to what you said about society, I also want other teenagers in the world, especially young women, to get help and support when they need it. No matter what people think on who has a say or whose feelings are valid, on this earth, everyone should be treated equal, no matter who they are or even what crime they've committed. Edward was glad Sarah was doing okay, and before his run with her, he got the opportunity to thank the ambulance at Wellsworth Hospital who brought her there. I think we'll call her Anna. Though I wish I could say things went totally back to normal, as if nothing ever happened, that was only 75% the case. See, when it comes to eating disorders or any kind of weight problems, you must know that it takes way longer than you think to fully heal. It requires a bunch of dedication, love, progress, and even a bit of relapsing, and Edward knew this as well, and was a tad concerned. But he also knew that as long as himself, the engines on the Brendan branch line, the Hat family, Sarah's therapist, her friends, and the new coach were around to support her, he no longer had to worry about the health of Sir Topham Hatt's daughter.